Today I am making these royal iced sugar cookies. For the sugar cookie recipe, see my last video where I made the stained glass sugar cookies. So once the dough had chilled, I rolled it out using my spacers and I used my cutters to cut out lots of Christmassy shapes. I used flour to roll them out to stop them sticking, and then I put them in the fridge to chill for about half an hour. While they were baking, I made my royal icing. This is just royal icing sugar, and I put some in a bowl with some water. You need a lot less water than you think, so add it very slowly. And it needs to be a nice pipeable consistency. If you add too much water, you can always add some more royal icing just to thicken it out a bit. And this is also when I colour my royal icing. It's really important to cover the royal icing with cling film in between because it does harden very quickly when it's exposed to the air. This is a thin writing nozzle, and I did an outline on all the cookies once they had cooled. This is because I was going to flood them with royal icing, so they needed a barrier for that royal icing to go up against. I went round all the shapes. If I make a mistake, I just wet a food safe brush and just push the royal icing into where I need it to be, or I just take it away and correct it. I don't have the nozzle right on the biscuit. What I do is I let the royal icing drop down into the right place. So I just lift it up and then kind of drag it and let it drop down. And then added a tiny bit more water to some of the royal icing and piped thicker blobs into the shape and just pushed it out with a wet brush. This is called flooding, and it just covers the whole area with a nice thick layer of royal icing. And the wet brush just helps to smooth and pat it down. This is a good time to add the sprinkles because it's not set yet. So I added some sprinkles and then I added some more detail over the top once it had set. Royal icing does take a few hours to set completely, so I did this in stages. If you add the next layer of royal icing on before the one before has set, it can kind of bleed into each other. Again, if I made a mistake, I just pushed the royal icing into the right place with my brush, or just gently lifted it off and then wait till it's dry and go over it again. Royal icing is definitely a bit different to working with buttercream. It does take some practice and I am by no means perfect, but I do love piping with it. I find it really therapeutic, and I love that you can do lots of different patterns and writing with it. And I also don't put too much in my piping bag because that can be difficult to write and ice with, so I just put a little bit in and then just keep refilling it. And I also wrap wet kitchen roll or cling film around the nozzle in between because it can firm up and harden really quickly. When the royal icing has set, you can paint it with luster dust. So I just added some rejuvenated to my luster dust, and with a thin brush I just painted some of the details on with one of my favourite luster dusts, which is the Sugar and Crumbs Wonder Dust. They're so sparkly and iridescent, so perfect for Christmas decorations. And here are the finished iced sugar cookies. Really lovely for a gift. You could put them in cellophane bags, or you could put holes in them and hang them on the tree. I love these. They're also really fun to make with kids.